From Cornwall to Birmingham and Johnston and Bexhill, here's Ruben Spire on the radio.
Hello to Nancy Manet. How are you today?
I'm great. Thank you.
Thank
Really
you.
excited to be here.
Thank you for chatting to you today. So, can you tell me, how long have you been a singer-songwriter for?
I've been a singer-songwriter since I think I wrote my first song in 2020. I've been singing since I was a kid. So for many years, I've been singing on stage since, at least I was 18. I'm 55.
So, what was it like going to the recording studio when you first went there?
When I went to Abbey Road?
Yeah, in London.
Yeah, I did. Oh my gosh. I know, and I'm wearing a Criteria because we went to Criteria too. Oh my gosh. When my project was picked up by David Percival, who's a Grammy-winning producer, I never imagined this would be the road that we would be on. And to go to Abbey Road and record in, one of their orchestral studios and have players from the London Symphony Orchestra, playing on the album, it was, an experience of a lifetime, really. And not for an inexperienced artist, but for an artist who nobody knows, right? So that to be my first recording experience was really just off the chart. And then the privilege, really, and the honor for me to play Sir Paul McCartney's piano and that beautiful big Steinway, in the orchestra pit. And it was phenomenal. Yeah, I can't say enough about it. Just standing on those steps and entering into the building and, all of the history and the iconic artists that have, played there. I'm honored to be a part of it.
Working with your producer?
Oh, phenomenal. Like it was always meant to be. Yeah, like it was always meant to be. We instantly connected and really understood each other. And he was very excited about the project. The debut is actually carved out of a 17-song rock opera that I wrote. And when I originally sent off an email to him, I said, hey, I have a goal of, I'm in the process of writing, an autobiography, and I'd like to write some, I've written some music to go along with it, to tell the story through music, but also, through book. Here's 56 pages of, a dossier at this point of, the backstory to these songs. And here are some, iPhone files of me throwing my iPhone up onto the piano or the guitar and playing out some of these songs. And he wrote back and said, when can we meet? And we met that week. And when I drove home, I just knew. I was actually pretty teary-eyed. It's like, wow. And I had spent probably that year prior looking for somebody to take on the project. And, my request to him was, I was looking for somebody who could write strings. And so I needed a composer. And he has composed and done many projects, across the globe and won awards for them. And yeah. So then he took me on and said, let's do this. So then as we finished the project, he looked at me and said, Nancy, you are brand new to, not to music, but you're brand new. Like, your name is new. And 17 songs is going to be really hard for people to want to listen to as a debut. He said, what if we carved 9 songs out of it and we release and introduce you that way? And I said, all right. This man's been in the industry for 40 years. And I said, okay, let's do that. And that's how this came about. And here we are.
So, can you tell me more about your debut single called Don't Let Her Ruin You?
Don't let her ruin you. Oh, okay. Very good friend of mine that I've known since camp. We met at camp when I was 14 years old, and have always stayed in touch. He got married, had 3 kids, 25 years of marriage, walks in on his wife with another man. She was the school principal, he was a coach, and everything he knew in his life just unraveled. And he went through a very bitter divorce, and we talked along the way. And as time went on, his divorce is final. He's picking up the pieces of his life. We start talking about, hey, are you dating? How's that going? And he's like, no, no, no. I want nothing to do with love. Kids are great. And one time he called me, he goes, Nan, I just finished floating down the river. He's got this grovelly voice, right? Oh, the kids are great. The business is great. Life is good. I'm like, but what about love? And he said, no, not interested. Like, dang it. One of the good guys, just a great guy. And I was a little upset with him. Like, you deserve to go find it and to heal. And I know that was 25 years. I understand it. A lot of us have lived a lot of life, and we've got a lot of pain. And so we got off the phone, and I was out for a walk, and I started writing the lyrics. And I was like, I'm going to write this for him. And I'd gone on a handful of dates myself, and many of them were not over their ex-wives. And there might be something in my personality, or, they've actually just flat out confessed, oh, I don't think we're ready to date. There's a lot of that out there. And I was just like, come on, get over her. So the point you are missing. And I actually paused and hemmed and hawed a little bit as I was writing these lyrics, because I'm I'm a tender soul, and I am empathetic. And so there's a part of me that was just frustrated. And it was like, your desolate life. And my first take through the song, I was really like raw, just the whole song. And as I listened to myself, I thought, I don't think men are going to receive Angry Nancy. I think if men have a shot of this song impacting, I need to sing it with the empathy that I'm really feeling, not the frustration of the dates where they don't move on. And so I revisited it, and I really found, I think, my voice, and the voice from what I would hope to be the voice for many men in it. And surprisingly, and I'm thrilled about it, women have related to it too. Just across all genders, no gender, a lot of people have related to it, because you can reverse the story. And in my case, it could be reversed. And so, but this was specifically written for my friend. And yeah, it's doing well. That song's doing very well. My producer, okay, so for those of us who are musicians that are geeky about it, my producer was really excited. He goes, it's in compound time, Nancy. You're playing 2 different things in each hand. I'm like, oh, cool. So he was really excited about it for that point. Yeah.
So, can you tell me more about your single? It's called Longing.
Longing. Okay. Longing was and is, trying to think, since everything I've written since, in that project specifically, the absolute most vulnerable song that I wrote. And again, going out on dates. I've had 2 failed marriages. I've been the survivor of severe abuse, and lots of therapy, and just not feeling like I'm ever going to find that relationship. And I was sitting in my brother's basement, and I pulled out my guitar and I wrote it 15 minutes later, and I just cried and I cried. And it was really, the word longing is not in the song. But when I was done, I realized I had written about things to come. I've written about a desire. And so that's how it got titled Longing, the desire for love that's pure and honest and joyful, intimate. And so it's a very intimate song. That's why it was also extraordinarily vulnerable for me to write and then wanted to share it, right? Because you're sharing, you know, artists share art, that's extraordinarily vulnerable. And then when we're sharing art, that's really like the things that I particularly write are all vulnerable in and of themselves. But this one was very intimate to me. That's how it came about.
So, can you tell me more about your debut album called Nancy Manet?
Just the album in general.
In general, yeah.
In general. Well, it is carved out of a larger work, and originally did not set out to write just a single album. And so then when the album came out of a larger work, I was really excited. I mean, it was like a shift, and which I think is really critical in life, that we can make, you know, like what path, and sometimes a shift takes place because it's better. And so if we're flexible to make those maneuvers, I think we'll be really surprised. And so with this album, yeah, when it came back as the debut, I was really proud of the work, really proud of all of the people that worked on the project, and loved the song choices that, you know, my producer went through with me, and the ones that he chose to release right now. And so there are some songs on there that are really deep for me, like A Mother's Cry, which is probably my personal favorite. It is about my birth mother and what happened to her when she was pregnant with me and she was forced to give me up to the state of California. And so I was awarded the state at birth, and I went to write a song about what would it feel like if I was her in 1969 and being forced to give up my child. And then the other that's very personal to me is My Expansion, which is about my daughter and my daughter coming out as queer. And I was not raised in an environment that was even spoken about, let alone accepted. And all of the influences over the years, that was always no, 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 that's not acceptable. And as I freed myself from those relationships, I was able to really embody really the courage to be able to say, I'm writing a song about how I support my daughter and how her coming into the world changed me, even as a 3-year-old or a 5-year-old asking me, why? Why do you believe that? Why do you believe that? Why? Why do you believe that, Mom? And she's 5 years old. I'm like, I don't know, because that's what we were told to believe. Like, parents believed it, grandparents believed it. This is what we've always done. And she's like, I think you need to ask why. And so just throughout being her mom throughout her lifetime allowed me the opportunity to grow and change and expand. So
can you tell me, are you working on any new music in the near future?
I love that question. A resounding yes. Ruben, I am working on a lot of stuff. In fact, the Christmas song, my first Christmas song, comes out tomorrow. Well, when this airs, that was November 1st, but it's for the 2024 Christmas season. And okay, this is a fun fact. I'm doing something in an interview in November, and I'm allowed to play my original Christmas music. And, you know, I had the one, so I wrote another one so I could share more. So that will come out in 2025, the next Christmas song. I have the next album coming out. I just, right before you and I got on this interview, I was on with my publicist and my producer. And stay tuned. But I think that album will release first week of April. And we'll start releasing singles the first week of January. So January, February, March, we'll have some single releases and then the album. And then first week in January, I'm going back to the studio to record the next album that will come out in August, September sometime. And then after that, we've got another one in queue to come out in 2026. So
you'll be very busy.
My head is spinning. My head, I love to write. And I didn't know, I guess, it comes easy for me. And, I wasn't somebody that was very confident about the ability to write. And I was beaten down so many years in music. And even as a child, my father died and he was the cheerleader for my music. And once he died, I was under a very oppressive environment, threats of being beaten if I played, not even allowed to play guitar, and definitely not piano. And so I kind of carried that like just throughout my life of like, oh, right. Or in the environment that I played for many years, it was also pretty oppressive because it was just play what we want you to play, sing quietly. Oh, don't play too aggressively. And if you listen to how I play, I'm a very driving player, whether it's on guitar or piano. I have a lot of energy that, I'm a rhythm instrumentalist, to start, very strong rhythm guitarist. And on piano, yes, I drive a lot of melody, but it's driving. And so that, the next album, it's like a romance between my piano and the drummer. And it's a lot of fun. And it's so different than the debut. And the Christmas single kind of gives a little taste, a little flavor of things to come. So, so writing back to, over this process, I have developed more confidence that it's like, oh, I'm supposed to do this. And okay. And it does kind of come easy, and not every idea is great, but that's the greatest part. I think the greatest part of writing and being a musician is that it's all about practice. So for me, it's just practice. It's like, okay, what key do I want to work in this week or this month? And I've pulled some keys out. I think, Ruben, I don't ever play in E flat. And I recognize that. I'm like, why don't I play in E flat? So I pulled out E flat and just practiced E flat. And a song that will be on the August release came out of that. And so, So it just keeps coming.
So,
I hope people like it.
What about any time for gigs coming to the UK? Or
we are talking about that. We actually with this upcoming release, we're talking about that plan. So, I really have entered this space. I don't know, maybe the space of like actually producing and releasing music may be different than most bands. But because I've also had so many years of history on stage, I just didn't record anything. So we're really kind of trying to navigate and test the waters and really get the word out there that I'm here, right? Like I've written this, I've had the privilege of recording at iconic studios. Criteria is as iconic, I would say. Now, Abbey Road is but Criteria is they did Hotel California, the Bee Gees. I believe Beyonce's recorded there. There's so many beautiful artists that have recorded out of Criteria. So to have all those experiences, we are doing a lot of interviews up front. I have been on a really robust radio promo tour, and we're actually going to continue that. And so now we're just talking about, okay, shows and where we're going to put those together. I just did one a few weeks ago that there'll be samples soon for that online. And the UK is on the list because I'm so grateful for my friends across the pond that want to listen to the music and celebrate it with me. So I would love to come through and share with all of you.
Yeah, some great venues in the UK. So yeah, you've got to come over to the UK.
Oh, we broke up. There you are. The Zoom stopped for a second. What did you just
There's
say?
lots of quite good venues, music venues in the UK, especially where I live in the Midlands. Quite a few decent venues in there, especially for independent artists. So
Nice. Yeah. 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 That's the goal. Yeah, because we will be heavily promoting this upcoming album in the UK as well.
so can you tell me what's it like being an independent artist for you?
Um, in what way?
There's a big wide world out there that we live in, so it must be quite difficult being an independent artist.
Well, is it a lot of work? Yes, but I would say it's a lot of work for any artist. It's work, and I actually love about this craft. Yes, we have the arts, and sometimes I think it's really hard um, for some artists, regardless of the medium, to also look at it as work, because the word work gets defined as something negative, like a have to. And I've never seen work that way. I love to work. So whether it was a different business that I owned, or working with or for someone else, or music, it's like I get the privilege of working in music. Is it hard? Sure. Just like anything else. I used to clean carpet for a living, Ruben, way back. Then I started, construction. Is that hard? Yes. and so, and even hours and hours and hours of playing piano or guitar till your fingers split, right? And that's physical. And I did see performance is much like any other physical work. And so I approach it that way. So I actually love it. I have been on the road a lot, all over the country, doing some smaller shows and interviews. And it's me and my two beagles in a pickup truck with all the gear, and off I go. And yeah, load in, load out, the hotel rooms. Yeah, but I think it's part of the privilege and the joy of being able to share. And I'm quite accustomed to it. So it wasn't, while I say it's hard work, I don't think it's debilitating or difficult, if that makes sense. Yeah. So I actually love it. And I've been an independent business owner. I've been what is called a small business owner since I was, I don't know, 27. So I've spent my whole life in the small mom and pop world of business ownership. And so to me, it's just, I took off one hat and I put on another, and now it's sharing through music.
So finally, can you tell me, listeners, where can I find you on your social media?
Oh, okay. Primarily on Facebook. Please and thank you. I had my producer asked when we were ready to launch, he goes, "You have no Instagram?" Like I had 2 followers or something. And I said, "No." He goes, "Why?" I said, "Because I'm in my 50s." Instagram wasn't even a thing when I started on Facebook. And now I'm like, I don't know how Instagram works. So we've been figuring that out. So I am on Facebook. You can find me at Nancy Manet. In fact, just my name, Nancy, Manet, Manet. I'm a verified account. So you'll see the little check, and you'll see me at the piano. And then on Instagram, look at that. That's a great question. Nancy, oh, let's see. I think it's Nan Manet. Same piano. Yeah. Oh, this is where my publicist would be like, Nancy. Yay, Instagram. Yes, Nan Manet. Nan. So the first three letters of my first name and then my last name, Manet. And then I do have a newer YouTube channel, Nancy Manet Music. And then, you know, Ruben, when it comes to TikTok, I would love to upload to TikTok. I would love to. TikTok blocks every single piece of music I put up. And they say that I don't own the rights. And I've gone through all the channels, submitted all the stuff, and they're like, you don't own the rights. I'm like, yes, I do. I own all of them. I am she. And they're like, no, you're not. So I'm not exactly sure how that's going to get fixed. I know a lot of artists that have recorded material that's copyright protected are struggling with that. So, but I will say I love Facebook and I appreciate Instagram and I love YouTube. I'm on YouTube all the time. And so, yeah, that's the best way, or then nancymanet.com. And I will say this, if you send me a message, whether it's through the website or you send me a direct message through Instagram or Facebook, I am she who responds. So I will respond to you. And I love to get to know people and appreciate that they take the time to send me a note and listen to the music. So
thank you. Let me chat to you today.
Thank you.
Enjoy the rest of your day.
And you too, Ruben. Thank you.
Okay. Goodbye.
Bye.